This is the energy update for the 16th to the 22nd of February 2026. I'm Daisy. This is Spiritual Mixtape. I love doing these updates, but I have never encountered a week with so much energy and so much potential for incredible change and so much potential for heartache. And I think that everyone who's found their way here is not living in the heartache timeline. You're living in the I see my cards and I'm working with it. And these things that, could be scary are gateways to new adventures, new possibilities. And I'm going to go along with that hypothesis because to dial down to anything else is to dumb down my own intelligence and my own ability to be resilient, to counter and meet change. Now, the thing I would say before we get into the update that feels very prevalent for this community is that your community, your friendships, and perhaps your primary relationships are changing. You are going to see very, very clearly over the next few weeks who is your soul family and who's meant for you on this next chapter. And some of those relationships you're not going to be able to get out of. Their family and you have them for life, but you will probably begin to feel that you need to dial down how much you take their opinions on board. Now, the blessing of the fire horse brings you your wild Mustangs as well. You are not going to be on your own for very long. You probably are already feeling these people pulling in and asking you, hey, you want to do this? You want to come here? You want to do what do you think about that? And perhaps you haven't been answering their calls. Well, now you get to really think this week about that and about how you answer to the new family. Or are you the one that needs to do some calling? Are you the one that needs to put your beacon of light on so that your wild Mustangs can find you? I've talked a lot in the last episode, the Firehorse sound bath. I urge you to do that. I urge you really to save that for the whole year. This isn't ever meant to be one or done work. These breathworks that I put out, these sound baths, even these private sessions that I put up, they're not one and done in isolation. They're meant for you to return to come back to the things that you are feeling, processing. How far have you come? What have you acted on? What do you need to find a little bit more courage to follow through on? What has come as a surprise? What was a gateway? There's always more to find and to explore rather than sitting in a corner and waiting for the action to happen to you. Now, I've talked a lot about the fire horse. I've talked a lot about what it feels like physically to meet this horse. Like, what are the symptoms? And really, the biggest thing that I've been feeling and what I've been seeing in clients and just seeing in general in the community that I'm in, no tolerance or low tolerance to misalignment. I think that's a really, really big one. You feel drained by, and frankly irritated by situations that you do not see as authentic. And I think the plus side of this as well, this came up in a conversation today, is when people are being authentic to themselves, but not to you, you also kind of dig it, right? Like, you're not judgmental anymore. If someone's being authentic to themselves, even if it's not your cup of tea, you're like, cool. Whereas before that might have been like an eye roll situation. You do not have the eye roll anymore. Your energy and your judgment and all of that is being better spent elsewhere. But low tolerance for misalignment, that's coming through with this fire horse. A mix of nervousness and excitement, restlessness and excitement, nervous excitement, ideas, urges to act on them. No toleration for a stagnant situation. And a lot of heart energy. Those are my emotional and my nervous system signs. I have been questioning a few times over the last week as this energy has been building. Where do I feel this? Where do I feel this? Like, am I really dysregulated or am I energetically having an upgrade? And because of the amount of breath work I do, I'm also the fittest I've been in a few years. I know that my nervous system is dysregulated, but I'm like, oof, where is this coming from? What do I need? I need to harness this Mustang energy in myself before it runs me over. I need to corral it. I need it to find its people, whatever it is that I need for this to do. And look, I want to say, before we move into the update, this was really the main point that I wanted to make. People are going to drop away. And these might be people that you thought, oh, they're my new friend, that we're really aligned. No, you're not. They are not bad people either, or, you know, they are just not your right fit in this new chapter. And you need to bless them and let them go. Real quick. Don't try and hold on. If you're getting a sign that someone isn't right, don't go in there and try and fix it. Take a look at what is working and realign to that. Don't think with the mind with these new changes. You are going to be really shown who you're meant to be running alongside. And I think for some of us, there's going to be surprises in there. There'll be old friends coming back in. Suddenly you're both on the same path again. There's going to be completely new communities that feel aligned, and there will be maybe some prickly or painful things to look at in this as well. Not just about you, but about others. In fact, like when I say it's not just about you, I think half the time we're not looking at us. We can get on our righteous soapbox about what other people do to us, and we're not looking closely enough about how we're triggering them. And look, I get it. They maybe don't deserve that sort of introspection, but we will choose the high road. We will be the bigger people. That's going to happen a lot, really, until Mercury leaves Pisces in April, and definitely for the rest of this eclipse. And for some of us, some of these stories that are a little complicated will continue to unfold over this eclipse period. So you've got 6 months to figure this out. And some of the nice ways, though, that this is lovely to see the fire horse in your relationship is that you do get to run with a different pack. You get to connect and have that, like, if you've been craving deep connection, honest conversations, that's going to come up now and you're going to be met. And if you've really been urging that feeling of deep questions, that's also going to come up. The thing I think is super interesting with this fire horse, it's those that you travel with. Adventure, aliveness, those that want to see you outside of your comfort zone or outside of where you usually are. Pay attention to that. Who's asking you to go outside, and be really aware of who's asking to come in, and like whether you're comfortable with that, whether it's like, damn, I want to open my house and have people over for my friend's doing this really fun, I mean, I call it fun, but I can't knit, but she's absolutely loving knitting movie night. Perhaps like you're about to start your own community and you're inviting people into your interests in your home, your space, your comfort zone. Be aware of that. Be aware of people asking, though, to just take everything. They think that their expansion is running alongside you when it's not that comfortable for you. But really, how Firehorse energy works is it's about those asking for you to adventure into the real world with them, where your energy and their energy matches and meets equal. That's Firehorse energy. For those of us sensitive to energy, that's what you've got to be looking for. Is this really what I want? Is this really what this year's about? Well, then ask yourself, is my energy going to be met here? Am I pushing myself too far? Or am I actually being made to level up in a place that is exactly where I need to be? And how good that this other wild horse, this other fire horse, is saying, yeah, come with me. This is the field that you should be in. And then on the flip side, like I said, think long and hard about those leveling up into your field and how you want to hold those that are leveling up to you. or whether this isn't the season to hold anyone apart from yourself. It was really important for me to state that before I got into the energy update. And I will make a point in the notes to put the timestamp in so you don't have to listen to this. But rapid clarity, rapid change is coming on who stays and who goes in your field, in your relationships. If your relationships are not built on honesty, trust, and mutual effort, like, you're going to have to really fight to keep those people in. It's not going to be a nice fight either. So let them go and trust that there are honest, trusting, mutual effort relationships out there desperate to get your attention if you just look the other way. So I hope that is some feedback that feels aligned. Communication is going to get more direct as well. This is all part of the fire horse, but it's also about Mercury into Pisces and Mercury going retrograde. And of course, the actual eclipses, which we are about to get into now. This is the energy update for 16th to the 22nd of February. And this update was called The Shift. Your future is closer than your past. What a gift. And the things that I'm really looking at, Saturn and Neptune meeting at 0 degrees of Aries, and the solar eclipse in Aquarius, and the Lunar New Year. Oh my gosh, it's so much. And today there is a trine with Pisces, with Mercury in Pisces and Jupiter. It's just never ending. So we spend so much time looping the past and rehearsing our future. But this week compresses time in a way that brings you back to now. Everything can feel loaded because it is. And the gift is that the energies aren't just one or done. If you miss it, it's gone. That's not what this is. These energies come with a backstory, a future season, and overlapping timelines. You get context and you get choice, and you get to rewrite and relive the parts that need addressing. A really important thing to note about this week is that you can't unknow what you know, so you must act. Yeah? Okay? If you've been brushing something under the carpet and not dealing with it, yet it's on your heart, yet it's on your mind, you can't unknow that. You must act on it now. A question that has been stalking you for months gets answered through your body this week. You really feel into answers before you're able to intellectually process them, before you're able to put words to how you feel or what you know. What feels mutual, clean, uncomplicated, and what doesn't anymore. This is what the beginning of the podcast was about today. When you tell the truth here, you don't just change a week. You open a year where your dreams finally get the scaffolding to build and grow. Yes, it is possible for our lives to change in a blink of an eye, but rarely is that the case with dreams that you have held for years, if not for lifetimes. And in some cases, I feel like if you're battling, whether you know it or not, to change, and I feel this in my heart, which is that fire horse energy, to change ancestral lines, issues like whether it's money wounds that have been going down the ancestral line, whether it's worthy issues that have been going down your ancestral line, you literally get to change this for yourself, but also for your ancestral line going forward and going back. But it takes work, right? And great dreams, huge changes take more than work. They take love and commitment. What I think is most prevalent is that it takes an internal shift. You can't change something you've been holding for lifetimes. without saying a clear and honest yes to shifting that pattern within you. Whether it's belief, whether it's like a really, really ingrained habit, conditioning, programming, you must agree to the internal shift. I think that then it can change overnight, but it doesn't happen without you saying that's what you want to change. If you knew that no one was going to save you, that you were the only one who would create your own health, wealth, success, what would you do differently? Like, what would you do today differently if you knew no one was going to save you? I think you'd start by being kinder to yourself, because literally you have to have your own back and it has to be unconditional. You make your reality and you make your dreams. I hope that that gives you sovereignty and power back. I really do. That is the most empowering thing you could ever say to somebody. You make your reality and you make your dreams. This week is a clean slate. It is a choice point. Tuesday's Lunar New Year, or Chinese New Year, plus solar eclipse in Aquarius, plus the Venus conjunct in the North Node, shifts the temperature fast. That was a lot of things. You can keep reading down if you are looking at the update in the membership, or it's a free community, or you can keep listening to this. I'm actually going to do more of a deep dive than I usually do because it's such a big week. Now, Friday anchors it for me. This is a big day, and for me it's actually more important than the eclipse. Not necessarily more important than the Lunar New Year. I feel the Lunar New Year perhaps more than most people because I grew up, I'm half Asian, so I grew up hearing about the New Year and having it in my consciousness since I was very young. So for me, I really think about the context and the archetypes of the Lunar New Year. For some of us, I think for most people, it's quite new that it's in mainstream Western culture now. But Friday for me feels as important as Tuesday's Lunar New Year. This is when Saturn conjunct, that means the next to Neptune. So Saturn and Neptune are next to each other. And basically the street that they meet on is called 0 degrees of Aries. This 0 degrees of Aries, for those that are new to this or don't, look too much into the astrology, is the beginning point of the whole zodiac wheel. 0 degrees of Aries. And the fact that this is happening within hours, really, it's like 72, let's do the math, 82, 92, was like within 100 hours of the eclipse, of the Lunar New Year, of these, Mercury in Pisces meeting Jupiter in a trine. A trine is considered like I always call it the sexy dance. It's like a really joyful moment between two planets as opposed to an opposition, which is when they're literally opposed. Think about that in politics. When there are two people against each other, they're opposed. Different views. A trine is a sexy dance. When something comes together, conjunct is not necessarily bad, but all good. It's just they're next to each other. It's usually a friendlier aspect. But how does this happen? These two outer planets are now next to each other at 0 degrees of Aries at the very, very beginning point. Faith and spirit meeting, responsibility and identity at the very beginning of a new cycle. And with Mercury in Pisces plus Mercury retrograde beginning Feb 25th, the rewrite of identity is already in motion this month. Your life could be the best soundtrack of all time. That's what you are being asked to create. That's what's being coded into your DNA. Now, I always go through the practices that I would recommend breathwork wise. Now, the reason I always push this breathwork thing beyond being a breathwork teacher is I had terrible PTSD. I thought my life was really over, to be honest. Like, it was such a struggle to function. I went from being a high paid and really successful executive to being a shell and a shadow of my former self. And I had all kinds of therapy and all kinds of journeys to get me back to health. And it didn't work, frankly. 4 years later, when I really knuckled down on teaching breath work as my thing, and I was doing it obsessively, mainly because I was teaching and I was earning a living through it, every day, the PTSD started going down in my body. So not only was I really fond of this beautiful act of self-care, it was completely radicalizing my own health journey. So anything, frankly, that you're going through this week, through these big eclipses, and I'm pretty sure that if you're listening to my podcast, you're going through some level of change, whether it's internal or external, because that is what this energy is doing to all of us. Whether you're having a really big level up or whether you're stepping sideways because the place that you're at is no longer right for you, you are feeling this call. And that means you need breath work. And I think it's incredible that none of us know, and we all underestimate our breath. I completely believe with 100% conviction that the breathworks I've set out and that I've basically been making for this moment, I've been making them over having a mastectomy, over being really ill. And it's truly the only time in this illness where I've been like completely fired up, feeling normal, feeling complete clarity. When you come from a yogi background, when you come from like that sort of pseudoscience background and you're talking about all of these things, you call that a flow state. When you are no longer in that moment, you've transcended into a quantum field and you're just in the flow. That's how I feel when I create these breathworks. I don't think that they are me. I think that they come from a channel of creativity in the same way that we've always understood that an artist who makes a painting and creates this beautiful image is tapping into something, a consciousness greater than themselves. While I would never say that I am an artist creating a masterpiece that's going to hang in a gallery, I don't think that's the world that we necessarily live in anymore. I think that I've tapped into that consciousness to channel a breath work that is going to give you clarity, comfort, stress relief, better sleep in a moment when you need it, when we're really charged. And I'm sure that in time, I will get better at talking about this or figure out all the words. But until I do, that's why I do these things. The breath works for this week are as follows. Same as the last 2 weeks. We've got a 7-day vision practice for those of us needing to dial down into the clarity. We have a 28-day consistency practice for those of us with a dysregulated nervous system. And by the way, like I said at the beginning, your nervous system may not be dysregulated. The energy is so heightened right now that you have to double down into practice and really giving everything you can to like a strong nervous system. That's in the membership. And then the other practice is the 3-day quantum leap. But what that 3-day quantum leap does is it breaks down timelines and it reconfigures your quantum body. It's healing. And then it brings you into creative intelligence, a 3-stop shop. But when it comes to that particular practice, which was part of our October drop, I like to do them all in one. Maybe like over a couple of hours, but I like to do them kind of back to back, go on the journey like that. I split them into 3 days because I teach a mixed level. And that's what you need to do when you're holding different levels in a group. And then I give the option. But I think right now, if you've listened this far and you know that you want to collapse some timelines, you know you need to hit flow, creative intelligence, you know that your quantum body, which is your energy body, needs healing, do them all in one. Now, this is the part that I don't usually do. I usually say, for the closer looks, go to my community. It's free. Read it there. Do the ritual. Everything's there and you can take your time. You can comment, and I'll respond, or other people in the community will respond. But since I'm already 26 minutes into today's podcast, I might as well just keep going and say this to you. I'm going to do the closer looks. I'm going to do it quickly though. So I'm not going to read you the full update. I'm just going to give you every day because we need it. This is a really big week. So Monday today, Mercury is trining Jupiter. This is the first of 3, and they are beacon moments in Mercury and Pisces, which is wildly long. Mercury is very quick. It's the planet closest to the sun, so it never stays in a zodiac sign for that long. But because of the retrograde, it's in Pisces, which isn't a place that it loves, for a lot longer. Now, don't freak out. This is actually good. This is actually good, and it's amazing that it's then going to meet Jupiter 3 times. Jupiter is our most happy planet. I call him Big Uncle Jupes. He wants to be your wonderful uncle benefactor who doesn't have kids, thinks of you as his own child, and he wants to give you everything he can. That's what Jupiter is like, and that's what Jupiter is doing for Mercury, who's going through a moment. He's in his Pisces era. He's in his retrograde era. But Big Uncle Jupes is going to come in 3 times in that period and hold your hand and give you plot that does need a rewrite, but he's going to make it a benevolent. He's going to help you choose the best. Do you know that phrase where we say your best timeline, your highest timeline, your future self? Like, that's what he's going to do. He's going to walk you into that sort of situation with what you're dealing with. So Monday, it's very momentum. And what you feel today, you are going to feel again on these other dates. I'm going to leave it there because there's so many other things to do, but there is a bit more in the written update. Now, everything's happening on Tuesday. We have the Lunar New Year. So this is Tuesday 17th, the solar eclipse in Aquarius, and we have Venus conjunct the North Node. Wild. This is an energetic start point, okay? It's a new year energetically. If you felt like this start of 2026 has been sluggish, good for you, because now you get to really have the new year that you deserve. The Aquarius of it all does make it future facing. Who are you? Who are you becoming? What are you building? All of those big questions are going to come up on this day that's a new year. And that's okay. It's going to feel quite fated. And again, that's okay. Pay attention to what you really care about now and let that be your guide. Again, keep speaking from this heart, like this cooling of the heart, this expanded heart energy. I have a bunch of other stuff here, but I'm just going to say Pisces season begins on Wednesday the 18th. And intuition, that's really the biggest thing I want to say. If you haven't felt intuitive over the last week, I say to you, go clear your energy, start again, and really dig in, because your intuition, signs, heart calling, gut instincts, all going to kick up for Pisces season. And then you've got, a few weeks to really live in this, because every day has its own signature. Thursday the 19th, we have a Master 22 day. So this is when every part of the day adds up to the number 22. As you know, we've got no 11 days now until 2030. So our 22 days are even more important. This is a building period. Now to 2030, a building period. What are you building? So all this week, it's asking you, who are you? What do you care about? What are you building? Who are the people? Where is the clear yes? Who are you bringing with you? It just gets more prevalent every day. And then Friday, this is a really big day for me. Saturn conjunct Neptune at 0 degrees of Aries. This is a very big initiation point. Dream meets responsibility at the very beginning of Aries. It's the kind of transit that takes what's been imagined and asks, are you living it or are you just thinking about it? Identity, leadership. I'll let the rest live on here. Saturday, I don't usually do these, but because every day had a signature, I thought that I would just give every day its signature, because if you are really dialing into the energy, you're going to feel it. Not as strongly every day, but you know, the ones of us who will feel this. Saturday is emotional clarity. So this isn't drama, it's emotional clarity. This is where the crying yes comes in. You ever have one of those where you say yes to something and you cry? That's the nervous system saying, finally, thank you for giving us the same. We're going to reward you with happy tears. That's what this moon exaltation degree is on the Saturday. And finally, we close the week with something a lot more gentle. This is Venus trining Jupiter. So I love the mirror. We had a Jupiter trine at the beginning of the week, but with Mercury. And today we have it on the Sunday, 22nd, we have it with wonderful Venus. So she is bringing warmth, generosity, pleasure. Spend the day with friends, the people that you're actually saying yes to. You like really plan something special here. And by special, I mean like having your besties over for Sunday lunch. That's a very British thing. We like a Sunday roast in the UK, but especially this time of year. But for my Americans, have people over for Sunday night dinner, Sunday night sports, and just be with your people. Make it an easy yes for you as well. That's the energy update for today. I'm going to end by saying that I do still have one-offs on sale. Grab them while you can, and leave me a review as well if you want. I know that I'm switching things up and putting out different episodes, putting out sound bowl classes and so many different offerings. I hope it's not blowing your mind. You're always welcome to email me if it is, or if it's exciting you. If you want to be a wild Mustang with me, hello@spiritualmixtape.com. I really, really love doing this, but I can't do it without your support. So if this resonates with you, if you're really feeling it, at the minimum, leave a review. At the maximum, book in or become a member of the free community or the paid community. It really helps to support this work, to support me. I can keep doing what I'm doing. Okay. That's it. Happy eclipsing, my loves. If you feel straggle-fraggled, you've got the sound. Why do I keep calling it a sound bowl? You've got the sound bath in the previous episode. Okay, lots of love. I can't wait to see you next week.